Good morning and welcome to the Stoney Love Morning Show. It's Friday, and yes, we have made it, my beautiful people. It was hard, but we made it to Friday, and thank God it's Friday. And thank God that it's Friday. We have a great weekend coming up. I think it's Juneteenth to celebrate and Father's Day. So make sure you take care of your father if you have one, if he's still with you. Do something kind for him, no matter what the relationship was like before on Sunday. Make sure you take the time to honor your father. And as the Bible says, and your mother, and your days shall be long. My quote this morning is, love the life you live. So we all have a beautiful life in spite of all of the triumphs that we have throughout the day, the years. Life is beautiful. And you must make the best of it. Today I have in the studio live with me Carmelita Gums. She is for the South Fulton District 2. And good morning to you.
Good morning, Stoney. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fabulous. And I want to say, I know it's early.
It is very early, but I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, and I'm so glad that you are. You are running, you are still running for, um, what is your role? Because I didn't see that part.
So actually, I was just reelected in November for my second term with the city of South Fulton. So
Congratulations.
thank you. It was a hard battle, but the residents decided that they wanted to keep me an additional term to pretty much follow out the dreams and the really the things that we want to see happen in the city of South Fulton. So I'm honored to represent them for an additional term.
So what is it that you do to help the citizens in South Fulton?
Well, I'm really big on community. The city of South Fulton was started in 2017. We were one of the newest cities in Georgia. Of course, you know the city of Stonecrest as well. But what we did is that we annexed from Fulton County. There was some land that was unincorporated, and then we became a city just for self-determination and make sure that we are able to get the things that we want and desire. Of course, you know, certainly North Fulton has all of the things, but South Fulton is a jewel. We have a lot of land, and there's really no place for a lot of other stuff to go up in North Fulton. So why not bring those amenities and desires down to South Fulton? We're predominantly African American community, very affluent, just south of the airport. So we want to see those things come to our community, and that's one of the reasons why we really fought so hard to become a city.
There are a lot of production warehouses in that area as well.
Well, let me clear up the room. So yes, it is. It is some industrial warehouses, but it is not in the city of South Fulton. Our borders are so very close to our neighboring cities, such as Union City, College Park, and the like. But it is not the city of South Fulton. But yes, there are warehouses.
Okay, but so are you planning to build more homes instead of more? Well, that's not in your
Well,
area,
industrial.
right?
Yeah, I understand. City of South Fulton is pretty much a bedroom community, so we have a lot of homes, and it's just mainly just residents. So what we're looking to do is kind of take some of that tax burden off by bringing in more quality commercial development. We need restaurants. We have some great things that are happening and coming up that I'll kind of talk about. But those are the things that we desire. We want to be able to spend our money in our city and really enjoy our city and not have to travel to our neighboring like cities, Douglasville, Peachtree City,
I live in
all of it.
Douglasville.
You live in Douglasville? I know you probably hang out in South Fulton every now and then.
I do because I would go out that way. A friend of mine live out in that area, and used to go that way to get my hair done a lot. But I love the area, and if I ever bought a home, I've thought about that way
Yeah,
because it's
it's
so
surreal.
beautiful out there.
I love the city of South Fulton, but I would say probably a little biased to my district, which is District 2. So if you ever decide to buy a home over in that area, I would say come to District 2.
Okay. Now, the schools in that area, do you have anything to do with the education aspect of it?
So actually, I do not. But the schools that are in our community do very well, and that's one of the things that I do like to champion is that we need to change the narrative about our schools and our communities. The schools are governed by the Fulton County School Board, and we have some very good school board representatives as well. But what happens is that we need to have more of a collaborative government. Even though we don't govern over the schools, we want to make sure that we're connected with our community and actually giving back and serving as well. So that's one of the things that I know I do, and I know a lot of my colleagues do as well, is that we're really in the schools and making sure that we're participating, raising money, helping them with resources, because that's important. I mean, nobody's going to move to a city where they can't educate their kids or they don't feel safe. So that's one of the things that we really focus on, is making sure our schools and the narrative stays the same.
Wow, that's beautiful. Because I have grandbabies, and education is definitely
It's
still
very.
very number one on my list. Now, before you were elected for your second term, were you in politics before your first term?
So actually, no. Well, sort of, kind of.
Okay.
So I had got laid off from corporate America, and I tell people I just did a talk with a new business here, and I shared how relationships are very important in Atlanta. So when you come here, don't burn all your bridges, or but you gotta be mindful of the people that you make solid relationships with. But I had got laid off from corporate America and was really struggling to find a job. And this gentleman that I met had a small black planning firm, and he needed a marketing director. Of course, it was a pay cut, but I took it, and then I was able to start working under an elected official in DeKalb County. And from that, I think I caught my bug, where I really started to see how resources were trickled down to different communities, and not always to communities of color.
Right.
And that kind of got under my skin a little bit. And we were going through our cityhood for the second time. So, candidates were making their mark and trying to say, they wanted to be the person to represent the city. We had, I think in our inaugural race, about maybe 74 people that ran. And these were people that were from the community. But I looked at the candidates and I said, oh, well, I have the experience.
I can do that.
I could do that.
I'm a leader.
But I think I'm not sure if I was, I was like, what am I doing? But I actually did it. I, volunteered myself for service, and I ran against 12 people and actually won. I actually won. I didn't think I was gonna win. I tell people I made it to the runoff just by 3 votes, and that's why I tell people all the time, voting is very important. It's very important, because you never know. So don't feel like if you cast your vote, your voices are not going to be heard. So I made it by 3, made it to the runoff, and here I am for a second term. So.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, how long is this term for? 4 years?
4 years.
Okay.
4 years.
Now, we have the election for the governor's race coming up in November.
Absolutely.
Correct?
It is a very, very big race. And this is, I can't believe 4 years have gone that fast since the last, election. But this is a very important race, and we need to make sure that our community gets out and vote. We did a record number, when is that, in 2016?
Yes.
We need to do it again. We need to do it again. We need to have people out in droves. And I know the population has increased since 2016, because it's nowhere to go in Atlanta. Atlanta is full. It is full, but we just want to make sure everybody gets out and vote.
And I know we've lost a lot of people during COVID.
Yeah.
So population, even though it doesn't seem like it, has decreased.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
with saying that, those that are registered to vote and those that are able to, let's get out
Yes.
and let our voices be heard. And that's for me as well. I didn't go to the preliminaries this time. I usually do.
Okay.
Shame on me. But I'm going to make time. I'm going to make sure that I do that. When we come back, we're going to talk to Carmelita about her daily role as a woman, as a leader, and mom,
Yes.
right? And how she juggles all of those things in the Southern District, too. We'll be back after these messages.
The idea of Sunday dinner is the love and the memories you have with it. Hopefully we're doing something that will make the kids want to continue that tradition like our parents instilled in us.
Now sit down.
For us, Sunday dinner was knowing that, you know, your aunts were gonna be in the kitchen, y'all were gonna be outside, and then you're gonna race when they say dinner's ready, right? Like you pushing each other out the way, right? But also part of that was on Sunday, you didn't eat all day because you knew where you were getting later, right?
it.
Growing up, watching my grandfather, who was just like this stoic man, seasoned and flip meat, these greasy hands, this smock, and everyone's looking at him, right, for whatever it was that was coming off the grill. You get a brisket going, that smoke gets to going, your 16-year-old shows up, right? Like he sits next to you, he's waiting for that piece of meat, right? So it pulls you, those smells pull you in. That's hot.
So Ma, as a kid, what was your favorite dish that was made?
Fried chicken.
Like, was it something about that or?
Well, we only had fried chicken on Sundays. It wasn't always a regular thing because when you had like home fried chicken, somebody had to kill the chicken the day before.
I was about to say.
Everything was prepped on Saturday night because you have to remember we're going back now to a stove that was started up with wood or coal.
Right. I used to request for you to make yeast rolls because I was like, this is amazing and it's so flavorful.
So I do mine, like Grandma didn't have, she had the hand mixer that she whipped around and she would set it where the sun shined on it. Because so it always had to be made early enough that the sun could shine to raise up your rolls.
When we talk about the things that you grew up eating in the house, the one thing that I always loved was my mama's greens. And she took pride at making her son, her oldest boy, these greens. Well, then I met a woman. And fell in love with this woman. And it probably was due to some of those greens. And I think, I'm pretty sure the first thing I said when I took a bite, I think I looked you square in your face and I said, sincerely, these better than my mama greens.
The juices started to come out over here. I just want a couple of those.
Being able to set time aside for your family or your extended family is just hard to come by. And it gets harder the older you get. To be able to sit aside like a dedicated time to be able to say, hey, this is where we are, this is where we're gonna meet. Right. Bring everything that you have of yourself in this moment is great. And for us, the kids respond. It's something that they look forward to. We sing a made-up song called Who Won the Day? And sometimes you don't win the day. We got a 4-year-old who'll say, I didn't win my day, it was a rough day, this happened. But they know that this is a space that we are gonna share that.
Put butter on your hands.
Give me his plate. Well, I'm standing.
If somebody had a challenging day or we know that something happened with someone, Our table is where we discuss it, and we discuss it as a family. It gives people an opportunity to express themselves and their emotions and not feel like it's a bad thing. You started it trying to get more conversation at the table, and it really has opened that up. Who win the day?
We win the day.
Who win the day?
We win the day.
Who win the day?
We win the day.
Penelope, how'd you win your day?
I made rules with my family.
What else?
I was watching TV all night.
With thinking about what does Sunday dinner mean to me, as a parent, making the foods that your kids love is what I take pride in, because that's what I saw.
Being able to get together is like almost a small vacation.
Even though you're around the same people all
Even though
day
you're
long.
around the same people all day long, you're with people, but you aren't focused on them.
Right.
And so the dinner table's been a place where we've been able to keep that sense of normalcy, that where we just still have that focus on each other.
And amazing food.
And amazing food.
Welcome back to the Stoney Love Morning Show. And I'm right here. I hope you enjoyed the first half of the show. And I still have with me for the second half of the show, Carmelita Gums. She represents the South Fulton District 2. And my question to you is, this is your second term, and you being a mother. And I know this job may take a lot of your time. How do you juggle the two? Mom, work, serving the community, and making sure everyone's good at the same time.
Well, I can tell you that was definitely a struggle, even within my first term. Before I ran, I sat down with my family and I explained to them that, I decided I was going to run for office. Certainly, they were going to be put in the limelight. They live in a fishbowl, all of that stuff. But I wanted them to support. And then actually winning the seat and being able to balance family. My daughter was still in high school at the time. She was a freshman in high school. Mm-hmm. And those are some very important years. And it was just, I had to learn. I had to have her call me on the carpet several times and be like, Mom, can you please put me first? Or can you show up? And those things kind of broke my heart. So I've always tried to encourage women to create balance, because at the end of the day, once all of the politics, once all of the constituents are gone, your family is what's going to be there. So it was very difficult. But now I'm on a mission to make sure that, it's important for women to create balance, and self-care, and overall making sure that, family is good, because at the end of the day, when you turn off the lights, they're going to be the ones that turn it back on.
That is so true. I was looking on your page last night briefly when I sent you the request, and I see that you support Kwanzaa Hall.
I do.
I support him too. I just love what he's done over the years in the community, cleaning up the community, bringing people together. He's just amazing.
Yeah, and he's from Atlanta.
He is.
He's from Atlanta. And I think we have a unique opportunity, especially with this lieutenant governor race, to have someone that will be there to represent our communities. And I think that's important. I like Kwanzaa as a person, just overall, just a nice gentleman. And he's really, ingrained in the community. So for me, his platform was very strong. And I want to see somebody in there that, again, is connected to the communities that I know needs to be served. So that's why I support Kwanzaa. And he did it very well in the preliminary. So I'm hoping that he'll continue to do well in this runoff and make it to where we need to see him to be as Lieutenant Governor.
I'm truly excited for him My next question is, and I had somebody ask me this question, and I didn't. I had no answer. I had to laugh because that's all I could do. Now I know you're probably thinking what I'm going to ask. What if, and I pray that this doesn't happen, Kemp is reelected, but then Kwanzaa Hall is.
That would be definitely an interesting combination, but I definitely think it's doable. I think if
is?
there is a level of respect that elected officials, once you're placed in that seat, you have to have a level of respect for your colleagues. And I think even though getting to the seat may not be the easiest. I think that if there's a way that, you can come together on the issues, because at the end of the day, Georgia is what matters, and making sure that the needs of our community matter. So you got to put the people first. And I think definitely
I
if
know
they,
Mr. Hall could do that.
he's a charmer.
Yes,
So,
he
but I
is.
definitely, I think, if both gentlemen put their hats to the side and do what's right for the people, we'll be fine.
Okay, now great answer. I didn't even know how to answer that question when it came to me. I was like,
That wasn't a politician answer either. That was just a calm answer. But yeah, I
that
think
was-
that's the way.
well, that was a great answer. I like that. And that made me just shift my thinking that Georgia is what's important, not that person's issue at hand. It's Georgia, and you're so very right. My next question is, what is it that you do in the community on a daily basis? I know during the break you mentioned something about your senior citizen. Do you have a lot to do with the senior citizens in District 2?
Well, my particular district does not. We have a lot of younger families, but in my day-to-day life, I do work with a lot of seniors, so I have a special place in my heart for them. One of the things that we do a lot of food drives. Through the pandemic, we had suffered pretty hard, and we got together as a community. One of our council members and our former mayor decided to really begin this initiative to feed the city. And that's one of the things that we have carried on throughout the pandemic. We make sure that we have resources that are available for businesses. Me as a sitting council member, I'm definitely strong on businesses, especially small businesses. So one of the things that I championed was making sure that we have policies in place to support small businesses during the pandemic, using cost savings to keep them afloat, with grants and things of that nature. Also making sure that we champion, the rental and mortgage assistance to help our community, because believe it or not, we struggle, but we want to ask for help. And one of the things that we're really trying to make sure is that our community stays intact throughout this pandemic, and now we're possibly about to go into a recession. So these are some challenging times, and just wanted to make sure that our families, our seniors, our community overall have the resources that they need to bounce back.
So is Fairburn a part of your South Fulton area?
So we have a corner of Fairburn, but Fairburn also has their own city as well. But we do have corners of Fairburn, yes.
And do you guys offer any resources for the residents in Fairburn, Georgia?
So if they are part of the city of South Fulton, there are some resources available.
Or
So
like rental assistance?
there is some rental assistance, and that program is being rolled out from the art funds that we have gotten from the government. So once we get that program up and fully rolling, residents that live in the city of South Fulton can apply for rental and mortgage assistance.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. I'm going to get that information from
Yes,
you
yes.
at the end of the show. Also, you were talking about small businesses coming to District 2, not just during the pandemic, but there were some. But now, as you have been reelected, you're focusing on the entrepreneurship, like restaurants. We talked a little bit
Yes,
about that
yes.
earlier. What are you doing for the county as far as, I heard grants. So if I'm a small business, a restaurant, I have a little wing and chicken spot, and I may kind of fall short, is there a way I can apply for grants?
Yes, well, we have the small business loan program where, again, if there are businesses that are going through a difficult time and they qualify or meet the criteria, then we will help them with financial assistance. So that's one of the programs that we have going on with the city of South Fulton. Now, not just for businesses in just District 2, but just businesses overall throughout the city. We have a clean slate, which is what I tell a lot of people. So if you are interested in doing business in the city of South Fulton, I do encourage you to come. We are looking for quality businesses. We want, something that's different, something that is not the normal. And just because we're, a predominantly African American community doesn't mean that we want, the normal wings and chicken and, all of the
Well, I was just
unhealthy.
hypothetical.
I know,
Right.
but all of the unhealthy food
want-
we want.
yeah, right.
We want to be able to have those smoothies. We have
Mm-hmm.
a community that loves to bike, they love to walk, they love to exercise.
Yes.
And it's us doing it. So we want to make sure that we kind of
Keep that healthy thing
keep
going.
that healthy initiative going as well. So I do encourage people, if they have a business idea that's, up and trendy, take a look at the city of South Fulton, because we do welcome those type of opportunities there.
Well, y'all hear that?
Mm-hmm.
She's welcoming you to the city of South Fulton. Wow. It has, when I say, been a pleasure speaking with you this morning. Did we forget something that you wanted to share? Is there anything you want to share with us?
Is there anything that I want to share? I will say again, the city of South Fulton is a city on the rise. We have some great things that are happening. We have some wonderful developments. I know that we got a riverfront project that's coming up.
Oh,
So many
congratulations.
great things that are happening. I do ask that, if you're interested, please go to our Facebook page, follow us, like us. We have an awesome Juneteenth celebration that's coming up at Wolf Creek Amphitheater. Also, too, we will be starting to have, events at Wolf Creek Amphitheater, and hopefully those concerts will start coming back very soon as well. So just look out for us. It's some great things happening. I want to say it's been an honor to be on your show, and I hope you have me back and we can talk a little bit more about some great things. I do know that there's an important runoff election that's happening on June 24th. So I do want to make sure that people take advantage of, I think today is the last day of early voting. So you can definitely go out and vote, but there is an important runoff for Secretary of State, for certain districts. I think there are a lot that actually, and Lieutenant Governor, as we mentioned, Kwanzaa is also in a runoff. So please make sure you go out and vote today. It is our given right and responsibility, and I'm asking that you all do that. So other than that, I think that's all I had.
Will you let everybody know where they can find yours? Do you have a website or?
I do.
So they can look you up and maybe get in touch with you. Maybe it's something that they couldn't remember.
Definitely.
And they can give you a call.
Definitely. Feel free to give me a call at 470-809-7702, or you can follow me on Facebook at Carmelita, Carmalitha, Gumbs, Gumbs, without the L. That is my councilwoman page. And then also, too, you can go to my website, which is Councilwoman Carmelita Gumbs.com, and I will be there. You have all of the events, the activities. You can communicate and chat with me. So I'm a very active council person, and I love my city, and I just encourage people to come, and I'll host you if you come.
Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you, Ms. Gums, so
You're
very much
welcome.
for
Thank you
coming
for
out
having
this
me.
morning. And this is the Stoney Love Morning Show, and I'll be right back after these messages.
knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign, not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Who believes in gun rights and
we got something to talk about for 30 minutes.
something talking about talk about that because in now in Georgia with the law that he signed, you can just carry a rifle. I mean, you can carry a gun.
Jesus.
The laws.
Stun guns and everything.
Do you have prediabetes? If you do, you're not alone. 1 in 3 American adults has prediabetes, and more than 80% don't know they have it. Prediabetes is a serious medical condition that puts you at high risk for type 2 diabetes. But now, North Carolina residents with prediabetes can enroll in a free or low-cost national diabetes prevention program. You can make healthy changes with support from this proven program. Get started now at joinaprogram.org.
Welcome back to the Stoney Love Morning Show. I still got her with me, y'all. I just couldn't let her leave. Miss Carmelita. I'm sorry. Beautiful name, beautiful person. And I just had to ask her to stay with me for the next part of this segment. We got to talking, and gun control here in Georgia has kind of gotten out of hand. And people are just, all around the nation, you see people pulling out guns and just popping people. Road rage, walking in the churches. Do you feel there should be some mental health evaluations for guns?
Well, I definitely believe that there should be some regulations. I don't think that we're doing enough as, number one, a state or even as the United States as far as gun control and gun reform. I do believe that there should be a mental health component as far as a review to make sure that, guns are in responsible hands. And not saying that, all people that have, suffer mental health issues are not responsible. But again, there are factors to determine whether or not someone should be a gun owner. And I just think in Georgia right now with the temperament of our current, leadership at the Gold Dome is that, they are for, guns. And there needs to be an age limit increase on when people can purchase, firearms. I remember when I first moved here and I saw an 18-year-old buying a rifle from Walmart. And I'm just like, you just turned 18 and you're buying a rifle. But that was something new for me to experience here. And nothing has changed. So, and even with our governor signing, into law that, you don't have to, conceal, and you can just, carry a weapon now without having to even fully register. It's kind of concerning,
Can you explain that a little bit more? Because I've heard some people talk about it. Mm-hmm. So say, for instance, if I want to go to Walmart and buy a gun. I don't have to go through the whole background check and all that.
That is my understanding, is that you don't have to go through a background check at 18. You can buy those firearms. So it is a rifle. I think, with pistols and things of that nature, yes, you'll have to go through a background check. But as far as, hunting rifles and things of that nature, you don't have to go through all of that.
Wow. And the mental health of America. Oh boy, it's sad because we've gone through so much
A lot.
with the last 2 years of COVID. A lot of people couldn't handle the isolation. A lot of people have anxiety. They were already going through something prior to that.
Yes.
This just opened it up more. Now people are angry because they don't have enough money. They had to go through the job phases, losing jobs, gaining a new job, meeting new people. A lot of people can't handle all of that.
Yeah, it's been a lot.
Right.
I mean, even families breaking up or losing loved ones because you're in the house all for 2 years. You're in the house with someone, and they're not leaving the house. So I can also tell you that domestic violence is up in our communities as well. So I mean, it's a lot of factors that people don't really look at in regards to what the pandemic, the post factors of everything that has kind of left that scar. But there's some things that have, really changed our community and our families since the pandemic.
Now, with the pandemic being, what it is, it seems like, as you said, off break, that it's here to stay with us.
Yes. We have to learn to live with COVID. Even still now with the Omicron variant, that people are still being diagnosed, daily with,
That
corona.
almost took me out.
Corona as well? Or the Omicron?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll call it Omarion.
Oh, Omarion. Yes.
How like you alive?
Yes.
I mean, I was on oxygen after the hospital for 6 months.
Oh, wow.
I'm just ceasing from having to have it just so much.
God is a blessing.
It is, because I was just like,
blessing.
it felt like something was sitting on my chest. And this was after the fact.
Yeah. And a lot of people survived the first couple of, variants.
Yeah,
and,
I did. I never got sick.
Never got
And
sick.
one day, I own a transportation company, a rideshare company. Lady got in my car, and I wasn't thinking. And I took my mask off to drink my coffee. And she was just talking. And the next thing I know, later on that night, I felt something strange come all over my body. And I called my daughter. I says, kiddo, I don't feel right. She says, well, just drink some tea. You're probably going to be okay. And the next morning, I had a fever.
Oh, man.
And I said, I don't feel good. So I went to the hospital. They sent me back home. Went to the hospital. They sent me back home. And at that time, I was going crazy.
Yeah.
And it was Christmas week. And then the next thing I know, I went back to the hospital. No, my daughter had to call the ambulance because my oxygen was dropping. Oh. I was laying down and I was at an 82.
Oh, no. Okay.
Yes. And they were like, no, ma'am, come on, let's go. And I was like, Lord, be with me. And when I got to the hospital, I said, you have COVID and you have pneumonia. And we have to admit you.
Okay.
And so I didn't know a lot, and I was like, Lord, I said hopefully I didn't want to get, what do you call it, intubated?
Yes.
I didn't want that. I told my kids
Be
not.
placed on a ventilator.
Yeah. I didn't want any of that. So I was going to just let me be.
I think the difficult part now in identifying COVID is that a lot of people just walk around and just think it's a common cold.
Right.
And it's COVID. You can't really tell. And then you have now people that just be like, every time you're not feeling well, I got COVID. So it's just like you don't know which way to operate.
Right. But because there's a difference. Your taste buds changes. And I noticed the other day I was sitting close, like we're apart. And the other day I got close to somebody, like really close. And they started talking. And I don't know if their spit or something got on me, but all day I was having trouble swallowing.
Oh, man.
When I got home, I started taking vitamin C extra, zinc, D's, everything.
It's a different way of living now. You
Oh,
definitely
it
have to.
is. And I
Yes.
was like, so I know now if I'm going to get close to you and start talking, I need to be wearing my N95.
Yes. Yes.
That we don't need to be, because it doesn't matter if you haven't, I have not been vaccinated.
Okay.
Now, I noticed that Georgia is, well, they're going to be offering the vaccination for children under 5 now.
Yes. Yes.
Florida is one of the states that has not offered or even pre-ordered vaccinations. How do you feel about 5 years old children under 5 getting vaccinated?
Well, I mean, I've been vaccinated. I've been boosted, and everyone in my family has.
Have you ever had COVID?
I've never had COVID.
Thank you, Lord.
Thank you. Yeah, I do. Now there was some scares. There was definitely some scares.
Right.
But I see the vaccination as, just like any other vaccination kids have to get, upon entering elementary school. And I know, vaccinations is a tough conversation because, again, at the end of the day, it's your right whether or not you want, the government influence on you as far as getting those, shots and however. So I never stare anybody or what do you call it? Vaccination, shame anybody. But I definitely feel like parents need to make a decision on what they want to do, with, rearing their kids. Do you want them to go to school and be safe? I know there was a big thing in Cobb County for quite some time where parents were upset. They wanted to be able to have a choice where kids can actually not wear their masks. Because, again, those type of facial expressions, being able to see their face is very important in education, especially just rearing someone through that process. So again, I think it's about, what you want to do as a parent to decide what's best for you and your family.
I agree with that. Now, with school coming back soon,
The summer goes by so fast.
does.
Oh my gosh.
It does. It goes by really fast. How do you feel? Is it going to be mandated for kids to get vaccinated, or will they be able to wear their mask here in Georgia, or do you know?
I think with even the governor signing that, the masks are an option, I don't think it'll be a mandate for the kids to get vaccinated. That's just my personal opinion. I don't see our governor actually putting that type of level of government influence on those type of family decisions. So I think it'll be up to, the parents, at the end of the day of how they want to proceed, making sure that their children are safe during school.
Well, I think he should mandate that healthcare workers and food service workers wear masks, because I really enjoyed going to restaurants and knowing that they were cooking over my food and that they had a mask on.
Yeah, but you know what? That is something that, again, everybody has their choice on getting vaccinated. As you can see, the restaurant industry, the food industry has been really impacted since COVID. I mean, we got longer waits, short staff. You don't get the kind of service that you used to because people are choosing, not to either get vaccinated or choosing not to come to work, or everybody's sick. Right. So we have to find a way to, again, live with this virus because it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. And then that personal choice of whether or not you want to mask up or not.
Now, do you think we're going to have another pandemic?
I don't think we're going to have another pandemic. I think what we're living in right now is going to be our reality. What I do see is the after effects of that pandemic, that we are starting to move into an economy that's starting to slow up. And we need to be prepared for that, especially people of color. We need to start saving. We need to start paying off our bills. We need to, really start being mindful of our strategy to maintain our homes and our livelihoods.
Now, I hear a lot of people talking about the increase of rental properties, such as apartment complex and things of that nature. Will the Georgia government ever intervene and say, hey, That's a little bit too much for that $700 apartment, which is now $1,500.
That's a good question. I know a lot of people are asking the government to step in. I know in New York and major cities there are some rent control as far as landlords, but that's not here in Georgia just yet. And I don't foresee that with our current leadership. Atlanta is now becoming one of the cities that's unaffordable to live in. And it's really scary because a lot of people moved here off of the fact that this was a place that they can actually have the American dream. So it's going to be different. You're going to see a lot of people priced out of the housing market, priced out of rental markets as well. So somebody's going to have to step in, but I'm not sure if it will be our government. I do know locally on city levels where we can influence policies is that we make sure that we don't have a lot of renter because we want to increase home ownership. So what the trend now is that a lot of investors are buying up new developments and communities and renting them out. And some communities are not for that. So I could say that we want to make sure that we have a level playing field and still pushing home ownerships to increase generational wealth.
Oh, yeah. Sounds good. Sounds good. So we covered pretty much a lot of things, the re-election. Now, what about, are there food pantries in your area that family members can go to? I meant to ask you that earlier.
Well, we have a lot of churches that have food pantries. I can't name them all off on the top of my head.
But there's a resource list. So
There is some resources,
website.
and we definitely promote our food drives that we have as well. So I would tell people just to continue to go to the City of South Fulton's website, and you can find that information. And then also, too, there are other resources such as Salvation Army to share where those food pantries are, especially Meals on Wheels, and Fulton County schools as well have those resources on their website as well.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to end this today. It's Friday.
It's Friday.
And I'm going to get out of here. I have been delighted to sit with Carmelita Gums. And if you guys want to reach her, tell everybody again where they can find you.
You can find me on Facebook with Carmelita Gums without the L, or you can call me at 470-809-7702, or you can go to my website, which is www.councilwomancarmelitagums.com. I look forward to helping you and answer you any questions about the City of South Fulton.
All right. You must focus on the process and not the outcome. So whatever you want, just focus on the outcome. See the vision, no matter what people say around you. Just continue to focus. And I'll see you on Monday morning.
Love it. I love it. That was a great